In today's class or in today's video, I am going to deliver lecture on the topic power sharing. Okay, and I hope you have studied power sharing. So before I start the lecture on power sharing, I must tell you something, or I have some questions because you have already completed the chapter. So you may have learned many things which I should know before I start the class, because a chapter already done with you. Understood? Can has made you understood know different things about power sharing. So you have to tell me about what you have learned from the chapter power sharing. Okay. So what is power sharing according to you? Can you tell me? What is power sharing? What is power sharing? What is power sharing?
Power sharing is
You tell me loudly. Number one. Number two, tell me, just take short time. Understood? You have to tell me whether you have learned power sharing or not. Number one. Number two, whether you can tell it very quickly or not, because we don't have a lot of time to waste, isn't it? And besides, I'm late already for the class today, isn't it? So please.
power sharing is sharing the power to the whole country.
Power sharing is sharing the power with the whole country. This is your answer. You know, when you read power sharing, it means if you share something with someone, it gets reduced, isn't it? So, if you share power, understood, what will happen? It will, if I share my tiffin with you, what will happen?
Reduce.
I have got tiffin in my, tiffin box, and the tiffin shared, understood, will be
Reduce.
less food for me. It means having less food. But but what have I earned out of sharing my tiffin with you? I have earned love. Love is the only thing that increases. Maybe you have to eat less, but you are getting more. Maybe volume, you can't see the, love is invisible to our naked eyes. But love is something that is felt. All you need is love. Understood? Just to live a happy life. You get me what I'm saying? So, this kind of power sharing, if you share power with somebody, understood? What happens? Power, what is power? Power is the ability to do something according to physics. But here, in political science or social science, the meaning is different. If you share power, understood, among people of a country, among different races, religious groups, ethnic groups, what happens? You are strengthening the ground on which you are standing. The ground is getting strengthened due to share of power, due to the sharing of power with others. And what does it do? It increases love, isn't it? All you need for happiness is love. And how can it be increased? Only through sharing power, isn't it? So I have a lot of questions. In the chapter power sharing, we have learned something. What have we learned? We have learned about how there were two countries. What was the name of these two countries? There were two countries. There are mentions of two countries. Actually, they mentioned two countries just as an example to teach the students what did they want us to know? What did the topics in the social science book? I think social science, no?
Yeah. Civics.
Civics, understood. Social science, civics, or political science. It may be political science book, or maybe civics, or maybe social science. Is that clear? Or SST, social studies. So my question is, there are two names of two countries mentioned in the chapter. What are the names of those two countries?
Belgium and Sri Lanka.
Belgium and Sri Lanka. What happened to the people in Belgium, and how did they help you to know what about the power sharing in Belgium? How did the power sharing help the people in Belgium? Don't take much time, my dear.
Belgium is a small country in Europe.
Okay, fine.
Uh,
Don't take much time, I'm telling you. This is not my way of teaching. What I want to tell you, if you have, like I teach English, isn't it? Whenever I teach something, everything is there in my mind, isn't it? Whenever I take the class, I make sure that I must not hesitate, understood, to tell you ins and outs of something. Unless I know the ins and outs of the subject, it won't increase my confidence, isn't it? So, if you want to do well in class 10, all you need to have is confidence. And where does the confidence come from? Confidence comes from pure knowledge of the subject, perfect knowledge of the subject, complete knowledge of the subject. It seems to me as if your mother is right. She is telling me, sir, you also teach these subjects. She believed me. See me as a member of the family. If someone goes to somewhere, understood, if someone goes to someone to study these subjects and comes without letting the family members know whether whatever he is doing is pure and perfect or not. Sometimes it is necessary to know whether whatever you are doing outside is pure and perfect, whether your knowledge of the subject is clear or not, because after all you have to do well in the class 10 exam, isn't it? So please, you have to tell me, say yes if you know, say no if you can't. You have just prepared the question answers, no? You have studied the subject carefully. Why do you feel to remember? Why can't you tell me everything about the chapter? Don't feel, I'm telling you, I'm not putting you to shame, please. Understood? Am I putting you to shame? Then I want to taste your knowledge of the subject, isn't it? So, can you say something about power sharing in Belgium? Say no. If you can't remember, say I forgot. Understood? And my knowledge is not perfect. Maybe ma'am completed the chapter, but I have not yet got what? Clear picture of the chapter, isn't it? Or sometimes Shubhajit, our parents know, they have a good knowledge of who we are, because after all we are their children. Understood? So, what I want to tell you is, I'm not putting anybody to shame. My duty is to equip you with proper knowledge of the subject. Now, so when you can't tell me anything about what I have asked you, okay, it is my duty to make you understand what happened in Belgium. Okay, now should I rub it? Where is duster? Has it started or it got switched over?
Start.
Okay. And the view is clear, the picture is clear. Okay, fine. Now, I don't like to draw a map of Belgium. Now I want to tell you, suppose I'm going to draw a circle just to make you understand. Power sharing. Belgium. Just I am not drawing the map. Okay, all I am doing is just I want to shorten. Understood? The duration of the lecture. So all I am going to do is I am going to draw a circle. Take it as what country? What is the name of this country?
Belgium.
Take it like Belgium. You just I have made it into two halves. Okay. This is Flemish. Flemish. Flemish or Flemish region. This is a region. REGI. Another is Wallonia. This is the Wallonia region. The two parts of the country. And this is a side. This is a place where Germans live. Understood? So the number of people living in Flemish, 59% Dutch population. DUTCH. Dutch. Here 59% Dutch, 40% French, 40% French, okay, and then 1% German. German. It means Belgium is a country where, please look at the map. Belgium is a country where you have 59% of the population, understood, speaking, living in Flemish, understood, and speaking Dutch. Dutch is the language of the people of Netherlands. So what is clear to us is Belgium share its border with Netherlands. Understood? This is the reason why some people from Belgium speak Dutch, because as it shares its border with Netherlands, naturally there is possibility of some people of Belgium speaking Dutch. So they happen to speak Dutch, isn't it? There are some French, Wallonia, here in this part of the country. People speak, 40% of the people, French speaking people. French speaking people. Their language is French. 40% of the people speak French. And another 1% speak German. It means, what is clear to us is that Belgium shared its border with Netherlands. Number 2, France. Understood? Number 3, Germany. Another little country is there in Europe, and the name of the country is Luxembourg. So what are the names of the 4 countries? Netherlands, Germany, France, and Luxembourg. Luxembourg is a very tiny country. Okay. So the population of Belgium is 1 crore. What is the population of Belgium? 1 crore. 1 crore people live in Belgium. And this 1 crore people, initially, during the 50s and 60s, they were not happy with the government of Belgium. Understood? Why were they not satisfied? The reason was very simple. Because the Belgium society was divided into 3 language speaking communities. Understood? Like our country, India, is divided, understood, on the basis of religion. All we believe in is religion. Those who are Muslims, understood, maybe they are our brethren, understood, but we believe what?
Hindu.
In religion, and there is religious difference visible in India. In the same way, these people living in Belgium, were divided on the based on language they speak. Maybe they practice different languages, but they were divided on the basis of languages they speak. Here, 59% Dutch, understood, was not as rich as the French people, 40% French, understood, and they were wealthy also. If you are wealthy, rich, the others will be hating, isn't it? Because if India is one country, if a particular community or a particular class of people speaking a particular language is richer than the other, the language, the majority Dutch or the majority of the country, if the majority of the country is poor and a very tiny group is rich, naturally they will be angry. Understood? So their anger was natural. So these Dutch, they got very angry. They decided to stake the claim. They were fighting. The streets of Belgium, filled with people. What is the population of Belgium? 1 crore. How many?
1 crore.
Okay. So the country is a small country, but the population of the country is like that of an Indian state called Haryana. Understood? So these people living in Belgium, understood, believed that some groups are what? Favored by the government, some communities, some people are favored by the government, whereas the rest are neglected. So during the 50s and 60s there were a lot of problems. People were agitating for their rights. And there is, for example, there is a place called Brussels. What is Brussels? Brussels is the capital of Belgium. Brussels.
Yes, Brussels.
Brussels is the capital of Belgium. What happened in Brussels? 80% of the people were speaking French, and remaining 20% speak
Dutch.
Here also the people are very, very unhappy. So they put pressure on the government. They fought for their rights, and the government had to accept the demands. What did the government do? The government decided to amend the constitution. Amendment of the constitution means they wanted to change the constitution. So they changed the constitution 4 times during a period of from 1970 to 1993. During this period of time, the constitution was amended 4 times. Means the constitution was changed 4 times. What is the constitution?
Constitution makes.
Do you know what a constitution is? Constitution what?
Constitution.
Why can't you tell me? Loudly. Tell. You can't tell. Constitution means law of the land. The book on the basis of which the country is run. Understood? Lawmakers. And who wrote the Indian Constitution? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Understood? Actually, the Indian Constitution was written under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. It was adopted, it was accepted as the Constitution of India in 1950, on 26 January 1950. And on that day, India became a republic, democratic republic. You get it? Now, is it very clear to you now? So, the constitution, the law of the land was changed. If you change the law of the land, what will happen? People will not feel alienated. They will not feel neglected. So, what happened? People feel very happy. What are the changes made? You know, the Dutch wanted a government, understood, central government, which will share power equally, maybe 59% Dutch or 40% German, French. But they say central government will be, understood, having equal rights. Like all the communities, 50% and Dutch speaking people 50%, means the power of the central government will be shared equally. Means if the Dutch get 50% representation, French will also get 50% representation in the parliament. You get it? Then what happened? There was a system. What was it? Horizontal form of government. What is this horizontal form? Means there must be executive, legislative and judiciary. The power will be shared. Understood? Like equal distribution of power will be there. If there is if the legislative council or if the legislature makes laws, they will be followed by the judiciary and will be implemented by the executive. You get it? This is how what is called horizontal distribution of power. Then there is vertical distribution of power. What is the vertical distribution of power? Vertical distribution of power is the central government share its power with the state government, and the state government share its power with the local government or community government. Here what happened in that country, in Belgium, people, whatever problems they faced, the problems were nicely taken care of. All their problems were solved. What did the Belgian parliament do? They changed the constitution, law of the land, and they gave 50% reservation, understood, in the parliament or representation. 50% reservation was given to the Dutch speaking people and 50% to the French speaking people. Their problem was solved. In Brussels, what happened? A government was formed. Even the capital was offered a government, understood, which was totally free from the influence of the central government, understood. Nobody poked into the affairs of these government. Capital was totally different. It was not subordinate to either to the central government or the state government. Free body. There also equal representation was there, understood. French and Dutch did not feel neglected due to the change in the constitution. You get it what I am telling you? After that, what happened in the central government problem, state government problems of the state government problems of the central government got solved, and even the problems that the capital faced, what 80% French people, speaking people were getting all the opportunities, that also was what taken care of, and they decided to give equal representation to Dutch speaking people and French speaking people. As a result, there also the power was shared equally, even in the government formed in the capital. You get it? Capital of Belgium, that is Brussels. And the problems of the communities. There are many communities living where in Belgium, like 1% German. They will not also feel neglected. So what happened? There was community government that we call panchayat in India, panchayat in the villages and municipality in the cities. Local governments. Here they were also free from the influence of the state. Understood? So nobody felt neglected. Understood? So there are some power sharing group, power sharing political parties. Understood? What did these power sharing groups do? They put pressure on the government. As a result, the government, like student union, trade unions. What are these actually groups? Actually, they put pressure on the government for their rights, and that even worked wonders. This is, power sharing groups were there. Political parties Understood? Political, several political parties were there. They also put up. They also had their own pressure groups. They also put pressure on the government just to what? Accept their demands. This is how the government, the Dutch proved through power sharing that they can solve the problems of all the people in Belgium. Understood? So all the people living in Belgium felt very, very happy. Due to what? The steps taken by the government of Belgium to put an end to the problems the people of Belgium were facing. So all the religious groups, all the linguistics groups, all the people living in Belgium were very, very happy. They put an end to it. So what happened? European Union made Belgium, Brussels, what? What has European made it?
Brazil,
Brussels, what? What had they made? The headquarter of
Belgium,
European Union. You, my God. What is it? What?
European Union.
Read. So the picture is very clear of this country. Is there any problem? You look for this. I am rubbing it. Okay. Has it started? Okay. Now let's look at what happened in Sri Lanka. Look at what happened in Sri Lanka. How was power sharing done? Understood? How was power shared in Sri Lanka? Okay. 74% of the population in Sri Lanka, actually the population of Sri Lanka is about 2 crore. Understood? 74% of the population is Sinhala. Understood? And the remaining 18% Tamil. Understood? Then 7%, I think, see the book, I think 7%
7% Christian.
Christian Tamil. Understood? Clear? So, the people, 74% of the people of Sri Lanka practice Buddhism. 18% of the population, Tamil population, practice either Islam or Hinduism. The remaining 7%, practice Christianity. Understood? This is how the Tamil society, this is how the
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lankan population is divided. Understood? So it is very clear to you now? Any problem? So what happened in Sri Lanka, do you know? There was civil war in Sri Lanka. The reason why the civil war took place was Sri Lankan Sinhala population, they denied what? The equal rights, equal opportunity to the minority Tamil population living in Sri Lanka. Among these people, among the Tamil population in Sri Lanka, there were, original inhabitants of Sri Lankan Tamils. Understood? Their number was half the population, Tamil population, was from Sri Lanka itself, and the remaining Tamils went from India to Sri Lanka to work as workers in the tea plantation or in the tea gardens. They settled down in Sri Lanka permanently, understood, as tea workers. Do you get it? These populations, when they settled down permanently, became the citizens of Sri Lanka. These people used to live in the northeastern part of Sri Lanka. When they felt that they were feeling neglected or alienated, they asked for rights. The first thing that they did was they formed their own political parties and they presented their demands to the government in Sri Lanka. The government ignored their demands. They said, no, we can't fulfill your demands. This is a country specially meant for the Sri Lankans, the Sinhalas. So when they were feeling oppressed, neglected, ignored, they protested. They did not, they wanted equality. So the denial of equality turned into a civil war. They fought among themselves. Understood? This is why the culture, understood, Sri Lankan culture, language, the prestige of Sri Lanka got destroyed. And the culture was affected, the the language, the life of the people, everybody understood it. Everything in Sri Lanka was like at stake. Prestige was at stake, and that is the reason the Sri Lankan population asked for equal justice, equal rights, but even then it was denied. This was the reason why Sri Lankan civil war took place. You get it? There was a leader whose name was Prabhakaran. He led this group, Sri Lankan Tamils group. But unfortunately, he died, and the Sri Lankan Tamils understood, who also dreamt of a future in Sri Lanka, got dashed. Understood? Then what happened? Sri Lankan Tamils wanted a separate government for them in the northeastern part of the country. But even that demand for the separate country was turned down by the Sri Lankan government. So this is the reason the power sharing in Sri Lanka failed. Have I been able to put an end to your problem to what you wanted from me?
Yes.
What is the duration of the class?
32.
32 minutes. Okay. Within 32 minutes, have I been able to give you a very clear picture? Or you want me to explain it at length? I don't think that I have left anything. Have I left anything? You understood? I have already told you the language of the 7% Christian. Understood? They spoke either Tamil or Sinhala. Understood? The 74% spoke, understood, Sinhala. 18% Tamil. Understood? And they consist of both Muslims and Hindus. And this is the reason why power sharing didn't work in Sri Lanka. You get it? So you have got the two pictures of how the power got shared, how the power sharing, understood, worked. How the power should work in these two countries, Belgium and Sri Lanka. I hope you have understood. Any problem? Was it a very good video? Will it be acceptable to all your friends? And will you really share it with those you want to benefit from? Are you going to do it? So, I hope you have understood. Have you got a very clear picture? Okay, fine, thank you. That's all today. That's all. And you please don't forget to share it with your friends.